Hello everyone, back to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days for today's second video. This will take us to around the 19th of May. So we're going in the second half of the month with the week's 10-day updates now. So this. Also, we'll have a look at Beijing Climate Center next 40 days. That'll take us into the first 10 days of June. So we're going to the early summer now with a more extended range. So 5-day forecast was released earlier on. We can find that video here on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's above the pollen count. There's also a written version. You can get that from buttons at the top of the page. It is going to be a more unsettled and changeable 5-day period coming up, but by no means will it be a washout. There will be plenty of useful, dry and fine weather for just about all of us at some point over the next 5 days. But there will be a little bit more rain than we've been used to, and the temperatures will be a bit cooler as well. So have a look at the 5-day forecast and see what you think. We're going to start off in this video though, have a look at the central England temperature from Hadley, because we've got the first week of May in now, provisional, up to yesterday, the 8th of May. The CET is standing at 12.8, I should say, an anomaly of 2.7 degrees. So the CET provisional is 12.8, an anomaly of nearly 3 degrees above average. Been a really warm first week to May, but I think that's about as high as it's going to get for the time being. I think we'll pause that, and probably it'll, if anything, it'll lower a bit over the next week or so. So I think that's about as high as we're going to get for the time being. It may take off again later on in the month if we get some high pressure building in and start to generate warmer temperatures again. But for the time being, I think we pause these incremental rises, and if anything, we will probably lower the CET a bit anyway over the next week or so. But certainly for the first week of May, coming out really, really warm. This is how the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking this morning, or were looking this morning. This is for London, so the red line here is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. Still a little bit above average today, but over the next week, it looks like we're going a bit cooler than average, if anything. Sort of trading days, a little bit up and down, but I think averaging it all out, we're probably a bit on the cooler than average side actually now for the next week. In the extended range, which takes us kind of like through the third week of May, it looks like we do still have this warming trend in evidence. It's a long way off though, and it is unreliable, but it looks like the second week of May is shaping up to be rather cool. The third week of May possibly seeing something warmer beginning to develop. As far as precipitation is concerned, plenty of dry weather over the next few days. From the weekend and through to next week, it is a little bit more unsettled then. Again, it's not a washout of the period, but we have got precipitation spikes showing up there, so rather changeable at the very least through this second week of May. Temperature anomalies for the next week look like that. And overall, we are a little bit on the cooler than average side. This is from the 9th through to the 17th of May. So a little bit cooler than average for the UK and for Ireland. France is included in that as well. So certainly cooler in the second week of May compared to what we've had through the first week of May. Precipitation anomalies from the 9th through to the 17th of May are coming out a bit wetter than average. Scotland and Northern Ireland, southern and southeastern parts of the country are coming out a bit drier than average in the week ahead. That's how the GFS 6 o'clock run was looking for Saturday. Low pressure close to the country over weekend, so it will be rather unsettled at the very least. This is all covered in the 5-day forecast period time frame that we released earlier on today. We go through to the start of next week, and we're starting to get a little bit of high pressure ridging up from the southwest, so it's becoming rather drier and warmer through the early part of next week. It doesn't last all that long though, because by the middle of next week, this next area of low pressure is rolling in over top, that possibly bringing further showers, if not longer spells of rain, particularly to northern parts of the country, and rather cool temperatures as well, because the air is coming from the northern Atlantic. So a bit warmer early next week for a day or so, but then back to more unsettled conditions. Into the second half of next week, it all looks rather changeable, to be honest. We have got this little transient ridge here on Friday, 18th of May, But low pressure's up to the north, northeast, low pressure's out to the west, so never too far away really from low pressure. And so by day 10, which is Saturday 19th of May, the next low is actually rolling in from the top, bringing an unsettled conditions certainly to to the northern part of the country. In the extended range, we reassert the Azores high. So again, still that idea that we've had within the model output for quite a long time, that after this more unsettled interruption through the middle of May, we go to something drier and warmer again with the Azores high as we go into the final stages of May. And that's running up towards the bank holiday weekend. That's Friday, 25th of May, so just before the late spring bank holiday, which we will be starting to do updates for that at the weekend. Just before the late spring bank holiday, as far as we can go with this morning's GFS 6 o'clock run, we find high pressure is well and truly dominated, weather bringing much warmer conditions back once again. If that comes off, obviously the CET will start to rocket once more. It's a long way off though, and in the reliable time frame, which is up to a week to 10 days away, it does look cooler and more unsettled. This is how the ECM is shaping up today. So low pressure again close to the country on Saturday and indeed on Sunday too, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Not continuously wet, there will be drier periods around, but overall rather an unsettled complexion to the weather over the weekend and into next week. Early next week, again, this slight ridge building from the north, so it is turning a bit drier through the early part of next week, but not long before the low pressure starts to come back in from off the Atlantic again. So running through next week, it does look rather unsettled. In fact, it looks more unsettled with the ECMWF than it did with the GFS. And one thing I want to draw your attention to here is that we are building some quite extensive blocking to our north. So we are raising the heights quite considerably, actually, as we're up towards day 10 around Greenland. Now, the GFS doesn't show a raise in heights anywhere near that pronounced as the ECM is showing there. But if we raise the heights over Greenland, if we get a blocking feature setting up over there, not saying we will, but if we do, then it could turn very unsettled because low pressure this time of year will nearly always run underneath it, and you can actually find yourself stuck under a near stationary trough for quite an extended period when you get these height rises to the north through the summer months. That's how we look on day 10, which is Saturday the 19th of May. Still worryingly high pressure toward Greenland, actually, so heights are still high up there. But that isn't shown by the GFS to anywhere near the same extent. We are having a go at raising a bit of pressure to our south, so it is trying to turn warmer, but I think very quickly this trough would roll in and it would remain very unsettled, I would have thought, in that kind of pattern. It's a strange run this morning from the ECMWF. It isn't particularly well supported, either from its ensemble or from the GFS, so I think it might have been off on a bit of a tangent, but we will keep an eye on it, of course, over the next few days. Beijing Climate Center finally, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period will take us from the 11th through to the 20th of May, with above average heights in the coming 10 days over and to the southwest of the country. Below average heights are up to the north and the northwest, but jet stream is being pushed off up there as well. So it looks like a drier and a warmer 10 days for the south. The north looks rather unsettled, and the jet stream never truly going away, so the jet stream is running in off the Atlantic like that, so rather changeable, let's say. And it's probably quite a decent reflection, actually, of the weather that we've got coming up in the next 10 days. Then we go through to the final 10 days of May, and this takes us from the 21st through to the 30th of May. And this one shows the heights building in across the country. So high pressure coming back from the Atlantic and also extending to our east. That sends the jet stream off to our north. And so we're on the warm side of the jet. We're back under a ridge of high pressure. That takes us through the final stages of May back to where we was in the early part of the month when we had the hot weather a few days ago. So that would be May, finishing up on really quite a warm and dry note once again. Of course, that does cover the bank holiday weekend as well. So could we get 2 really good bank holiday weekends on the trot? It seems unlikely, but that certainly is what the Beijing Climate Center is indicating. Then we go through to the next 10 days. This takes us from the 31st of May through to the 9th of June. So actually going to go further into June than I thought. We're going to go almost to the 20th of June. With this. So this is days, this is going to be days 21 to 30. And this one looks more unsettled again. As we go into the early part of June, the above average heights are pulling back into the central Atlantic, with below average heights over and to the east-northeast of the country. The jet stream is going something like that. So we're sending the jet stream onto a northwest-southeast trajectory. And so that is a cooler and more unsettled opening 10 days to June. And then the final 10 days, which is going to be days 31 to 40, taking us from the 10th through to the 19th of June. This one shows above average heights building to our south-southwest at that point, with below average heights up to the north. And so that could be turning warmer and drier again. Looks like a rather changeable 40 days coming up with no 10-day period exactly the same. So that is heights building to the south again, starting to pull the air up from the south-southwest. That would be a warmer and drier period coming up through the middle 10 days of June, with the trough of below average heights going over to Scandinavia and eastern parts of Europe, and that is of course where the dip in the jet stream will be occurring as well. So as far as the Beijing Climate Center is concerned, we start off a little bit changeable. We go to a warm and dry period through the latter stages of May. Then we're back to cool and unsettled conditions through early June before we arrive back at warmer and drier weather again in the middle of June. That's all very highly speculative. Of course, these long-range models are prone to chopping and changing. In the more immediate time frame, which is the next week to 10 days, we are focusing on a more unsettled period. Not a total washout of the period. There will be drier weather coming through at times, but it's going to be more unsettled, it's going to be more changeable. There'll be rain at times, and overall probably a little bit on the cooler side as well. Will those heights return from the Azores as we get through to the final sort of week to 10 days of the month? That will be the focus of the updates in the next few days, I suspect. Right, don't forget to check out 5-day forecast if you haven't yet done so. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.